Hello. Hi everyone. We're just starting in 2 minutes. Hello, hi. I'm good. How are you? So we're just going to be joined by Dr. Amee in about a minute. Hello, hi. Hi, Dr. Amee.
Hi, Rashmil. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
Good.
Awesome. Good to see you.
Same here. Same here.
Okay, so hi everyone. I think we're a minute early, but we will start. So hi, I'm Rashmil, and I have Dr. Amee with me. Dr. Amee, for those of you who may not have attended our live sessions earlier, Dr. Amee is a dermatologist with more than 20 years of experience, and she runs Think Skin Clinic in Bangalore. And she's joined us today to talk about summer and travel skincare. For those of you who are coming here for the first time, we've done a session earlier, which was on where to begin skincare, how to begin skincare. So, whoever has not checked out that session, I would really, really urge you to go back and check it out. It had some really useful tips, and I think Dr. Amee and I had a wonderful conversation. Um, yeah, so yes, let's start. So today's conversation is going to be about summer and travel skincare. And I think the reason that we picked this topic is pretty evident. We are definitely well into the summer season. And something interesting that I did not know, at least till a couple of months back, was that our skin type changes with seasons. And honestly, it was came as a very big surprise to me. But now that I think about it, it makes so much sense. So we'll start the live session by really trying to understand, and Dr. Amee, I think you will be the right person to elaborate on how does your skin really change with seasons and specifically in the summer? And I know that obviously with the heat and everything, our skin tends to be more oily and we tend to sweat more. And I think that's the obvious change that we see. But it'll be interesting to understand exactly what happens and exactly what changes, does your skin go through during the summer season.
So thank you once again, Rashmil and Health and Glow. And thank you so much, guys, for, logging in. I guarantee you it's again going to be an interesting session. So please do stay till the end. Ask your questions. That's very important because sometimes what goes on in your mind is in many other people's minds, so that will really help you and
Absolutely.
so please do that. Yes, Rashmil, as you said, it's very important for us to understand this, that we are not born with one skin type. It changes with age, with season, with even our internal body. When you are stressed or when you have a disease or when you are, when you've just undergone surgery, any change is going to change your skin. Now, let us all
Yeah.
remember skin is a dynamic organ. It's not just something that has been plastered on our surface. It is living. And the cells undergo change like all the cells of our body undergo. So, similarly, our skin also goes through changes. And unfortunately, this largest organ of our body is given the most difficult function is protection. So it is exposed to everything which is outside, and now with so much climate change and cities like Bangalore which never experienced summer, we're going through a 35, 37 degrees, which is,
Yeah.
you can imagine what change happens on the skin. And the first thing that happens is dehydration, because cities like Bangalore, cities where the humidity is very less, the increased heat in the environment tends to absorb the water our surface. So the first thing that you notice is dehydration. And many a times we get very confused that how come my skin, which was so oily, generally, I get so many acne and all, and why is it dry on the sides, but still my nose is as oily as ever, and why am I getting a combination now? So you have to understand that the oil secretion is as usual, but because the cheeks are a larger surface area than your nose, you start noticing dehydration more because there's more absorption and evaporation of water from here. So now combination skin
Right.
types become very common because you have your T-zone, which is oily, but you have your cheeks, which are dehydrated. If you look at cities like Chennai or Bangalore, where the humidity is much more, you notice that the sweat tends to settle. And in these cases, you get acne, even regular skin infections much more. And today I'm just talking about the face, but if you look, the same changes and even worse happen on the rest of the body. So, your skin type changes, and with that, we should be aware to change our skincare routine too. So that awareness is very important because we can't stick to it saying that I have combination skin, so I will only stick to these products. We got to
Yeah.
keep getting aware. So that is the first thing that we need to know. So first thing when you go is check your skin type immediately when you wash your face. Now you might be washing your face, in winter with say aloe vera gel or, a hyaluronic acid or a very mild cleanser because of dryness. But now when you start noticing a lot of sweat, stickiness, if at all, you need to change and add probably a tea tree oil or a salicylic acid in your cleanser so that that extra sweat, the grease, everything peels off. So that awareness is very important.
Yeah. And I think, one important thing about summer and I mean, difference between, going from winter to summer, like you said, a lot of ingredients that you use, the process that you follow. So we'll talk a lot more in detail about all of these things because I have, read that in the summer you should be exfoliating more. In the summer, maybe you need to get more products with antioxidants or products which hydrate your skin a lot more, right? And I think what the point that you brought up was interesting, which is the dehydration of skin, because more often than not, you're constantly like either your skin feels oily or you're sweating, but at the same time, your skin is also dehydrated. So that's like a very sort of a strange situation to be in and also to understand what to do with your skin at that point. So I think one of the important things, if you can also elaborate on how does one deal with that? How does one deal with understanding if their skin is dehydrated? Is the skin dehydrated because it's already sweaty or it's already oily? So, how does one understand that and deal with that?
Yeah. So see, first difference, Rashmi, that we want to understand is dry skin is different from dehydrated because our treatment also differs. Now, a dehydrated skin is where the skin cells do not have enough water molecules in them, or, they have undergone the heat stroke or heat evaporation. So these dehydrated skins immediately burn. So if you're out in the sun for a very long time and you have dehydrated skin, you're going to get a skin burn you know but in a dry skin you're not going to burn so fast as a dehydrated because you have enough water molecules. It's just that you don't have enough oil because that's your skin type. So you have to understand the difference. So in a dehydrated skin, we will always advise one to drink water and to apply, humectants. Now, what I mean by humectants, which I had covered even earlier, is something that absorbs water from the environment and from the skin. So you need hyaluronic acid, you need aloe vera gel, glycerine. All these have this capacity like a sponge, to absorb. So that is wonderful for a dehydrated skin. Whereas for a dry skin, that's not going to solve the purpose. You need oils, you need
Right.
emollient, So you need to figure out this first basic difference. And the second thing here you have to remember is that dry skin, how much ever you intake water, it's not going to change. Whereas in a dehydrated skin, just one day, if you cover your 3 or 3.5 liters of water, you will see by next day morning, your skin will start improving because you've given it that amount of water that you need. So the change in your products should be according to this. So, suppose, you're going out, like now people have started traveling and you're going to work and you're driving, say, for an hour and you're exposed to the light, from outside, that your skin is going to get dehydrated. And then you end up in an AC office, which is again going to take away.
Exactly.
Yeah. So here, remember to change your moisturizers then from those little heavy moisturizers to one which are water-based. So when you look and turn around your moisturizer, you'll see the first component is aqua. Aqua means water. So you pick up these moisturizers during summer because you want your skin to hydrate. You want your skin to cool down. You want it to feel, more radiant, because if it's dry, it's going to look dull. So products which
Yeah.
contain gel, hyaluronic, it's beautiful, glycerine, all these will work extremely well. And remember, whenever you use these humectants, there should always be a layer of water or moisture on your face. So what it does is
Okay.
it immediately pick the water of your face and give you immediate hydration. So the process should be that, you wash your face, leave some amount of water on your face, and then put your humectant or then put your moisturizer, over which you use your sunscreen. So summer, this routine is extremely important. Try and avoid your toners, especially if you do not have very oily skin, because at this stage you just want great hydration. It's like a layer that forms on the skin so that there is no evaporation. So
Right.
this time that you work more on your moisturizers, and if you have an oily skin and if you have a combination skin, still your moisturizer should contain aqua, that is water, along with one of these humectants, because it will hydrate and prevent excess oil secretion from the skin. So your moisturizer is the first product that you change when seasons change.
Right. So I think I just wanted to remind everyone that in case you have any questions, please use the question widget at the bottom to put your questions, and we will take them up during the session. So Dr. Ami, going into like understanding more about summer skincare, and I think, like you said, this time around, I think everyone's really feeling the heat. I mean, Bangalore which is a city that's typically very pleasant, even in the summer, is so hot right now. And another important point that you brought up is that a lot of people, most of us, are now going back into the office environment. We're traveling, we're actually stepping out a lot more than we were during the pandemic. So I think it's important that we sort of deep dive a little into what summer skincare should really look like. Before we sort of delve into that, I just want to remind everyone that the first step, I think, which is what we discussed in our last session, to really taking care of your skin, is knowing your skin type. This is something that Dr. Ami has been also talking about. And like we discussed right now, our skin type does change with seasons. So it's important to keep checking on your skin and keep checking on your skin type. Fortunately, Health and Glow has a free tool. We have Skin Expert that you can access on our website, on our app. You can even access it in any of our stores today. And you will have someone to support you in getting your skin tested. You can DIY it on our app or our website. It's a very easy process, and it will recommend a personalized regime which is tailored to your skin type. All the products are dermatologist recommended. Dr. Ami has picked and chosen all those products. So I think it's definitely something we can safely say, will suit your skin. So please do go check it out. Now, Dr. Ami, I think it's time to go into your favorite topic, which is SPF. And I know that we spoke about this last session, and we did detail out quite a bit. We spoke about physical versus chemical sunscreens, and how important that is as a first step to taking care of your skin. So I think summer skincare specifically, if we want to talk about, would be incomplete without touching upon SPF and upon sunscreens in general. For those of you who want to know a little bit more about sunscreens and the difference in the different types of sunscreens, we did talk about this in our last session. Please do go and check it out. But since we're on summer and on that topic, I think sunscreens is something that we should talk about. And I think I want to start by a question. So I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I was like, hey, do you apply sunscreen? And, I was very inspired by our conversation, and I was like, I must check with all my friends and, give this free advice. So I asked her, and I said, do you apply sunscreen? And she said, you know what? I feel like sunscreens are so heavy and I don't really like the way they feel on my skin and this and that. And I know that historically our impressions of sunscreens, or at least the kind of sunscreens that were available to us, were that kind, like, the very heavy and very not so nice on skin. But what advice would you want to give to people on sunscreens? Because I think the space has evolved since then and so many new things are in the market today. So how should one really go about sunscreens? Should one look at something specifically for the summer? Should we keep something different in mind when we're looking for sunscreens just for the summer that are maybe lighter on our skin and things like that?
Yeah. So see, it's a great question. And, my answer still remains the same for everyone. Like we change our moisturizers. Now, what are we changing? We're changing the base. We're changing not the active ingredients, but we are changing something, the delivery mechanism. So with each season, because our skin changes, we need to change the base of our product. So like your friend very rightly said that it's too heavy and, I sweat too much when I use it in summer.
Yeah.
It's because the base is more creamy. And when it's high on creams, right, it tends to block all the pores, including our sweat pores. So, our oil glands and our sweat glands have different openings. Now, oil gland opening is still okay because most of these are non-comedogenic. But what happens is they block the sweat gland pore. So it's not that you will get acne, but you feel extremely sweaty because the sweat can't evaporate or go out and it sticks on the surface of your skin. Now, if the base is a lotion which has more water content in it, it will get dissolved with the sweat and it will let the sweat come off and get evaporated easily. So that is why you move your sunscreen from a creamy base to a lotion base or a gel base, because these are heavy water and it helps, then your pores of your sweat glands to breathe. So, people just mistake these two things. They say pore means everything is oil, but it isn't. There are two glands on our skin and both open separately. So, if it is non-comedogenic, that doesn't mean you won't sweat. It's different, right? So in summers, I request everybody to pick up lotion-based sunscreen or gel-based sunscreens because they will be lighter on your skin and they'll help in the process of evaporating the sweat that comes out. That's the first thing. Now, the second thing, which is, what I believe in, like we double cleanse, double cleansing has become a very big thing now. We should also use double sunscreen. And what I mean by double sunscreen is not application every 2 hours, which all of us know, although whether we do or not, I don't know, but we all know about that. We need to apply sunscreen twice. Suppose you're going out, like you're traveling and you have a 2-hour drive, or, you're traveling to the airport, or, you're traveling outside. What happens is that you don't have enough protection with one sunscreen. So I always recommend a chemical sunscreen first, which is a lotion or a gel based, and on top of that, a physical sunscreen. Now, this dual protection during summers will really help because it will let your skin breathe, but you'll have the physical protection so that, the direct sunlight doesn't fall and damage your skin, especially for pigmentation. So double sunscreen is, especially important when you travel. Now, the other thing that you'll ask me is that, then I have to put makeup, then how much do I put on my skin? Third, we have wonderful products. Pick up sunscreens which have a foundation in them. They are like BB creams. They are sunscreens with a tint in them. So your chemical sunscreen, and then put on your, BB cream with a tint or a sunscreen with a tint, so that you get the protection and it's the first layer of your foundation. So that's one thing that I want you to know. Now, you will ask me, how do I pick up my sunscreens then,
Yeah.
Don't just look at the SPF. Now, sunscreen is not equal to SPF, That's something that you need to remember. SPF is just the ultraviolet B protection, but not the ultraviolet A protection, not protection from sunlight. So you got to check something called broad spectrum sunscreen. Whichever brand you like and you follow, it's your choice. But always look for broad spectrum sunscreens because this will cover your A as well as your B. That's the first thing. The second thing is if you're looking at chemical sunscreens, there are only two ingredients, a physical sunscreen, sorry, there are only two ingredients which come in a physical sunscreen, and that is zinc and titanium dioxide. Now, there are many companies that promote a physical chemical together. So they say, हाँ, दोनों protection हो जाता है. You're a moisturizer with an SPF. And say, नहीं, अभी आपको लगाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. But that's completely false. You need to use your moisturizer and then your sunscreen. Even if your moisturizer has an SPF. And when you're using a double sunscreen, first put your chemical sunscreen and then a physical sunscreen that contains zinc or titanium dioxide. I just saw a question, someone saying that if I apply makeup, do I reapply my sunscreen? No.
Yeah.
If you use makeup, you don't need to reapply your sunscreen because your foundations are nothing but titanium dioxides. So you don't need to reapply it if you've used a good foundation and you've covered your face completely. So sunscreens are, they're scientific. So, we should not just look at, I love this brand, so I buy it. But I think you need to turn and check. And with such sessions that Health and Glow and others have, it's we will be out there to help you out to choose the right products and follow them.
Yeah. Dr. Ami, one more thing that I have seen, and especially even on Health and Glow as a platform, right? You do get sunscreens in different bases. So, like you said, you get tinted sunscreens, which are like BB creams. What I've also seen is that you get gel-based sunscreens or gel sunscreens. So, is that base or are gel sunscreens better for the summer, or what would be the difference really between like a gel based and a lotion based and a cream based? So could you shed more light on that?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, a cream based sunscreen will also block your sweat glands, so you
Yeah.
won't be able. So your sweat, so some people have written that I apply it and I sweat too much. That's because the base is wrong. So remember to pick up bases which are lotions or gels because they are water based. So when it's water based, it just merges with the sweat. So you don't feel extra sweaty or sticky, or you don't feel that your sweat is not able to evaporate, it's just right there on your face. So gel is also very good for oily skin, because it does not completely block your pores and it lets you breathe, but it does not have cream based formulation, which can get comedogenic. So gel is
Yeah.
perfect for summers, perfect for oily as well as dry skin. It doesn't matter. But gel and a lotion is preferred. And of course, you need to reapply it because with the sweat, it will dissolve. So the effect will go away. So you need to reapply it. That is one thing we need to keep in mind. But, these sunscreens are better off in summer.
Right. And this is again like a common question that comes up in people's mind, but because your skin tends to get so sweaty and oily in the summer, there's always this question that do I need to moisturize my skin in the summer? Is that still important? So what advice would you want to give when it comes to moisturizing your skin?
Yeah. See, the concept is all, that we have to understand that a moisturizer is not just it's not just for dry skin. A moisturizer has three components like we had discussed last time. One
Yeah.
is absorbs water, so it hydrates your skin. Second one is it just makes the cells come together. So if your cells are way apart because of external exposures, the pollution, it'll be like a cement which will get your skin evened out. That's the emollient. And last is our occlusives. So they prevent evaporation of water. So a moisturizer is not just to help dry skin, it's for all skin types because we all go through this. Even if you have an
Yeah.
oily skin, that doesn't mean your skin cells are all in one line. They will all be all over the place. So because of the external pollution. So if you use an emollient, your cells come together and it actually gives you that even look. The other thing a moisturizer does, especially in summers and for oily skin, is it prevents rebound oiliness. So when your skin, if you've used products which dry your skin, like you use a face wash with salicylic acid,
Yeah.
and dried out your skin. Now, what happens is the brain considers that as dryness and it'll produce more oil to combat. So, in effect, you've dried off your skin much more. So, then a moisturizer is very important. So, you use a salicylic acid to keep the sebum in control, to remove the grease, but you put in a moisturizer to prevent rebound secretion of oil. So, it's very important to use a moisturizer even in summer.
Right. I think someone has asked some questions. I sweat a lot. What sunscreen to use? So I think we've answered some of these questions. Use a lotion-based sunscreen. I have learned this now. And you can always watch this video again. We will have it on our page. So I think moving on to the second part of, summer skincare and what, we wanted to talk about is ingredients, right? And I think, again, this is something that really changes with season because, like you said, there are some ingredients like salicylic acid, which may dry your skin out. Some ingredients which may hydrate your skin more. So what ingredients should one look out for in the kind of skincare products that they use in the summers? What is some of the ingredients that would work for them?
Yeah. So see, the idea in summer is to cool our skin, so the answer is very simple there. So, when you're using, say, a toner, pick up cucumber-based toners, aloe gel-based toners, because those are going to cool out your skin. And when it's cool, you don't get inflammation. That inflammation subsequently sometimes causes dryness, sometimes causes acne, bases your skin type. So that is one. If you use these so that it cools down your skin. Your sunscreens, pick up gel-based sunscreens. Your moisturizers also, which are very light, so like a lotion. All these are water-based. So they again cool your skin. So those will really be helpful. So, a little tweak around or change will really help. The other common things that we see, in summer is that the T-zone suddenly starts becoming a little more oil secretion. It's actually not oil, it's sweat. And I tell so many of my patients that especially when you're traveling or when you're on the go, pick up these, skincare pads which contain salicylic acid or micellar water, or the simple thing is your blotting paper. A simple blotting paper is very handy if especially you have a T-zone which is very oily, because you can just blot off the excess oil plus sweat which is present on that area. So it's not just oil. So these things really work well. And the facial mist, this is the time to get the mist-based sunscreens, because, even while you're sitting, you're working, you can't just keep going and washing your face. So, a mist, excellent. So this is a time to keep this handy either on your table or in your travel kit, which keeps your skin hydrated all the time. And at night, the best thing is, after a long days of work and travel, and when you come back, your eyes feel heavy, your skin feels very dry at times, or even tired. Ice is the best way to reduce the inflammation and give you that kind of, coolness that is required, which prevents so many things the next day morning and popping up of a pimple or a dry patch, and even on your arms, where you see burns, tanning, eczema, all this can settle just with time. The other thing that you can use is tea bags. So, the used tea bags, if you've kept it in the fridge or the freezer, this has something called polyphenol, which is an antioxidant. So you just dip it a little in water and either put it on your eye, or even you can use it to dab all over your face and neck. That is a wonderful natural antioxidant that you can do in summers, which will reduce the effect of the free radicals, so it will prevent so many complications that you otherwise get. So this is one thing you can do. The third thing that I really like is, especially when your eyes feel very dry, because of the evaporation and heat all day, dry and burning, you just take teaspoons, the stainless steel spoons, just put it in the fridge or the freezer for 10 minutes and then just apply it on your eye. You apply it in bursts of 10 seconds, because your eyes will start watering, because the excess heat and everything. Just keep putting it every 10 seconds. You notice your dark circles, the lines that you get under the eye because of dehydrated skin will disappear. So these are the things that you need to remember, even when you're traveling, you carry these few things with you, like a blotting paper, a facial spray or a mist, and this is really going to work in summers.
those are some, I mean, nice little hacks actually that, one can use in the summer to, combat that oily skin or the sweat that is on the skin or the burning of the eyes, like you said. And that's something that I go through a lot as well. My eyes do tend to burn a lot more in the summers. So definitely going to try that. So I think there's one question that someone has asked here, and I think it might be something that a lot of people might be wondering about. I have been recommended a lot of skin creams from my dermatologist. Do I still use a moisturizer and a sunscreen over those creams?
So it's very important to know what are those creams, because sometimes,
Right.
a medical and moisturizer might be in one of them. So it's important that you check with the doctor. It might be there in one of them, and you just don't know it. But ideally, if you're using say medicated creams, right, we always keep this in mind. So maybe if I'm giving you a medicated moisturizer, I'll see to it that there's an antioxidant in it. So we try and reduce the number of creams or layers that you need to put. In
Right.
summers, antioxidant becomes important, especially for stepping out, because because of the sunlight, there are a lot of free radicals that are secreted in our skin. Now, I don't know how many of you know about a little bit of science, or this free radicals are charged particles. So if I give you a very simple example, these charged particles are totally unstable. It's like a little child who just wants to cling to the mother. So these free radicals then cling to our skin, like collagen, the elastin, and when they cling, the actual structure of collagen changes. That's when you start noticing lines, wrinkles, pigmentation because of these free radicals. Now, when you use an antioxidant morning as well as night, you prevent this, because then the free radicals cling to the oxidant, the antioxidant, and not to your skin. So that is how you negate the effect. So you don't get frequent burns, you don't get tan, you do not get pigmentation, and you can postpone your aging. So, these are the things. So what I was trying to say is maybe the dermatologist is given a sunscreen with an antioxidant, or, a moisturizer with an antioxidant. So just need to check with the doc what is the process.
Right, right. So when it comes to summer, I think we've touched upon a lot of things, but one important question I think that a lot of people would have is what are the absolute basic skincare essentials during summer, and what kind of a basic routine must one follow? Because again, like you said, on summer you don't want to put too much on your skin, you don't want to make it heavy, but at the same time, we definitely do recommend not to skip nighttime routines. That's the time when your skin is really replenishing itself. So, what are those really basic essentials during summer, and what kind of a basic routine should like one look at following?
Yeah. So, I'm a very low, very less product use doctor. So I'll just give you very simple things that I think really work. One, of course, is a good face cleanser, right? Depending on your skin type, which you're noticing in summer, you need to check and use. So a face wash or a cleanser is extremely essential. The next is your moisturizer, because that forms a base to prevent further problems that happen during the day in summer, like evaporation, dryness, stickiness. So that's why you need the moisturizer. It's like wearing, your clothes. You're now ready to get out. But of course, not without your sunscreen. And if you're stepping out, or if you're traveling and you're out there for a long time, a double sunscreen would really help, is what I recommend. Morning is enough. This is more than enough. Carry a facial mist with you and a blotting paper. So just before your reapplication of your sunscreen, apply the mist and just put your sunscreen once again. So that's the way to go during the day. At night, as you very rightly said, is the time of repair. So a day is generally protection and night is for repair. So at night, we have to be very mindful of the products that we're using, our retinols, our alpha and beta hydroxy acid here, sometimes in summers, can cause a little more effect, or more side effect, I would say. So your retinols, because your skin is warm, inflamed, a retinol can cause easy peeling, burning, and irritation. So at this stage, the easiest way is you can't keep changing your products. can't keep buying such expensive products. So what you need to do is just dilute it with aloe gel. So use
Okay.
aloe 50% your retinol or 50% your AHA or DHA, especially the ones which dry out your skin. So you just hydrate it with aloe vera gel and 50% you mix it evenly and you apply on your skin. That's the easiest way that you can prevent the side effects of all these exfoliating creams, but still get the benefit of it with aloe gel. So this is the regular routine that you need to have. Now, in case you're noticing skin irritation, burning, or even warmth, and how do you decide that? There are two very simple ways. One, whenever you splash water on your face and the skin is burning, you know it's inflamed or it's going to show signs of inflammation. And the second is whenever you're using your skincare products, the next day morning they show an added or exaggerated reaction. Retinol will suddenly cause excessive peeling, or you've applied a glycolic acid cream or a AHA based face wash and you're noticing that under eye has become very dry, your skin is tight and stretchy. This is the time you realize that these products are not working at this in this season or climate. So if you get these two things, remember, add just a simple aloe vera gel or hyaluronic acid and you are good to go.
Right. I actually read somewhere when I was doing my research on summer skincare as well that you must incorporate vitamin C and vitamin C serums during the summer. And I think vitamin C is sort of like a trending ingredient right now. We see a lot of brands coming up with vitamin C serums. So I really want you to just take a minute and demystify vitamin C for us.
Yeah, it's like the fashion industry, skincare has become like fashion industry, bell bottom pants, you know, tights are in, so everybody will wear skin tight jeans. So it's just that, it's just an antioxidant. I mean, I'm not saying it's nothing great, but it's just another antioxidant. And you have wonderful antioxidants. You have vitamin E, you have a beautiful ingredient called resveratrol, which is derived from red grapes, which is so much more
Wow.
potent than C. So use of it's not vitamin C that you need, but as I said earlier, that you need an
Right.
antioxidant. So whichever form of antioxidant you use, you use C, you use E, you use resveratrol, you use just caffeine, you use green tea. Green tea products are wonderful antioxidants because they contain polyphenols. So all these are required. They're essential because the free radicals are generated in our skin. So it's your choice. You pick up whichever antioxidant cream you like or a serum you like, but you should use it.
Right. There's a question here, which is if you don't step out of your home, then is a moisturizer enough?
Yes, so that's a very important, and I get tired sometimes to answer this most of because sun. When we say sunscreen, it's actually not protecting us from sun or heat. See, we always think it's protecting us from heat because you correlate sun and heat together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that. The rays which are invisible, the light. Now, light comes in through our balconies, through our windows, through window panes, everywhere. So we can't actually, kind of hide from ultraviolet light. And now with the screens, we're constantly in exposure with blue light, with ultraviolet light, which comes from our screens, which we are stuck to all day. So a sunscreen is even more important. Only difference between indoor and outdoor is that the amount is reduced. So probably if the whole day
Yeah.
you are staying at, you can restrict it to application of once or twice a day. If you're stepping out, you repeat every 3 hours. That's the only difference probably in a sunscreen regime. But you need to use a sunscreen on a cloudy day, a day where you're not going to step out, or probably when you're going to use makeup and you think there's enough layers on your skin. But the first thing should be your sunscreen. So, like we brush our teeth and drink water, a sunscreen should be inculcated like that in our skincare routine.
Right. Okay, there's one more question going back to the little hack you gave about a frozen spoon or a cold spoon. Someone has asked you, instead of a frozen spoon, can I use an ice cube every morning after washing my face?
Yeah. So, actually for teenagers where we don't want to use too many skincare products on them, this is the first thing I tell them. Wash your face with ice cold water or rub ice on your face. Because one of the
Yeah.
major reasons of acne and acne scars more than acne is inflammation. It's that heat which causes degradation or damage to our skin. Now, if you keep applying ice, you're reducing that inflammation. So you're reducing damage to your skin. So I would always recommend rubbing an ice whenever you're free, you're watching television or Netflix or whatever, just keep applying ice on your face. Wonderful.
Awesome. Okay, I think there's just one last bit that I wanted to touch upon when it comes to summer skincare, and that is about exfoliation, right? And again, this is also something that I read and I've heard from a lot of people that, in the summer you must exfoliate regularly. But I think it's also important that we understand what's the right way to exfoliate, how does it affect our skin in the summer, and what's the right way really to do it.
Yeah, see, exfoliation again is a science, and people just go by trends many a times, or the influencers that they are following. But it's very important, as you rightly said, to understand the medical angle of exfoliation. Now, what
Right.
exactly is exfoliation? Because we're living in an environment which has so many particles which are not visible, which get stuck to the surface of our skin. Now when that happens, our body is like an AI. If it notices a particular a skin, it doesn't know whether it's skin cell or it's an external pollutant. It doesn't grow skin as much in that layer. So
Hmm.
so if there is a pollutant here, the skin stops a little low. If there is no pollutant here, the skin grows normally. Now, when we wash
Hmm.
our, the pollutant will go away, but our skin will be at different levels. Now, what happens is whenever, now your basic physics, so whenever there is a rugged surface, the light that strikes does not reflect back, it gets
Hmm.
refracted. So your skin looks dull because all the light is not reflected back in the eye of the person who's looking at you. Now, if you exfoliate and remove those dead cells before the skin makes this arrangement, all your cells are at one level. When they're at one level, the light that strikes reflects back evenly. So the person who's looking at you thinks you're glowing. So that's the basic physics of why exfoliation is important and what should we do. Now, the thing is, every skin is very different. I have skins that people keep exfoliating very regularly and the skin becomes sensitive, because we're overdoing that. So we need to remember and understand when and how to do it. Now, we have two types of exfoliants. We have physical exfoliants and we have chemical exfoliants. By physical, I mean, the scrubs, I mean, those brushes and everything that people use, loofahs they use. Those are physical exfoliants. In our chemical exfoliants, we have, alpha hydroxy acids, beta hydroxy acids. We use sometimes home remedies like lime, tomatoes, even curd. All these are chemical exfoliants. Now, when the frequency is very important for an oily skin type, ideally twice is enough. But a drier skin type or a combination skin type, you need to be very careful. I would recommend not to use a physical exfoliant because when you're using physical exfoliant, the pressure that you apply is very critical. It goes in deeper and
Right.
you irritate the skin. So, drier skin, normal skin, combination, avoid exfoliation on your cheeks. Combination skin, you can do maybe on your T-zone, but otherwise avoid your cheeks. Better to use physical exfoliants. The percentage of the exfoliant is not important. What is important is the pH. So when you look at your exfoliant or you look at your alpha or beta hydroxy acid, it's the 2 or 3% is not important, but they write over there the pH. pH of our
Hmm.
facial skin is around 4.7 to 5.3. Now we need to stick to that or go a little lower for enough exfoliation. So the pH is very
Okay.
critical for us to know. If it goes on the alkaline side, dry out. If it acidic side that is less than 3, then we will get skin burns. So this understanding very important. If you're home care products, please do a patch test because and every time you apply it, especially lime, because the concentration of lime changes with every lime. So you need to do a quick patch test over here. If it's not irritating, you apply it all over your face. So oily skin twice a week enough. Drier skins maybe once a week or once in 15 days. But do check, always do a patch test. Figure it out and then apply it on your face. So that will really help.
Yeah, I think that's a good hack, which a lot of us probably don't think about, is doing a patch test on our skin and then, we apply it everywhere and then it's a disaster. So I think that's an important point that you brought out. Okay, so I think with this, we will move on to our next topic of conversation, which is still summer related, but, we want to now talk a little bit more about what to do when you're traveling. And again, this is just a really important topic, because I think, at least for me as well personally, I am absolutely clueless when I'm traveling, because there is a routine that I'm used to. You're used to putting whatever skincare products that you use at home when you're in your place or in your hometown. But then when you're traveling, there is a risk of the weather changing, the season, maybe in the place you're going to is a little different, or the weather is a little different, your skin may react differently. And I think that's generally what happens when people travel. They will definitely go to a place where, the weather is slightly different from where they are right now. Plus the whole hassle of just carrying everything with them and knowing what to use, what not to use. So I think the first thing is, what does one need to keep in mind, especially when they're going to travel? I think we'll start with that, and then we will go on to talking about other aspects of what are the essentials, what should one look for, how should one change or tweak their routine if they're traveling as well.
Yeah, yeah. So yes, everyone, it's the travel season now with some vacations. Um, See, we always say travel light, because you don't want the hassle of carrying so many things, and that's why our skincare brands now have minis or smaller
Right.
products. So it's good to invest in these minis, because you can carry it in your cabin then, especially if you're flying, and you can use it while you're there on the flight. Especially if you have a longer flight, you're traveling outside India and it's a long duration, you need those products. So the first thing is, when you're packing your kit, get your travel essentials and use those smaller kits. Now, what do you carry? Of course, the temperature that you're going to go to. So if you're going to a temperature which is much cooler, you need to carry cream based products, so which will combat the dryness that you notice there. So that is one thing. The second thing is, very importantly, is your sunscreen. Again, I will repeat this, because your sunscreen is very critical. If you carry a very light sunscreen, you will have to keep reapplying. So if you're going, to a very cold country, or at least cooler than where you are, carry a thicker base sunscreen. And I would recommend sunscreens which are tinted. Now, the reason here is, in tinted sunscreens, they stay much longer on the surface of your skin if you're not sweating, especially if you're going to a cooler weather. And it protects you even from sunlight. Now, when you're out there, in the sun for long hours, you need that protection even from sunlight and not just ultraviolet light. So in your kit, carry a tinted sunscreen. The next best thing that I really like is just a little rose water. Now you get simple rose water sprays which hydrate your skin and give you that fresh feel, even your eyes. So, you have a long journey, or you're out the whole day trekking, or probably on the beach, just a quick spray of rose water and keep it on your face for a little while, and then apply your sunscreen will work beautifully. So that is one thing. Don't forget to carry your, either a blotting paper or some facial pads or tissues, because there are many times that you're not able to wash or remove take away the dirt and the pollution. So if you have those facial pads, you can just spray rose water and then just remove it with those facial pads. So your kit should contain a small cleanser, a moisturizer, a mist, maybe rose water or aloe gel, and your sunscreen. This is a must for your morning. For your evening, the same cleanser is okay, but you need something to repair your skin. And this is the time you need to take something like an aloe vera gel or oat-based moisturizers. Now, oat itself is very calming and cooling to our skin. So oat works beautifully, oat-based moisturizers at this time. I would say avoid your retinols or your very, strong serums at this time, because you don't know how your skin is going to react to the changed weather, and you do not want to have flaking or peeling. So for those few days, avoid these stronger products and take more calming products like aloe gel, hyaluronic acid, or oat-based moisturizers or creams. That will really help.
I think the other thing, and I think throughout this conversation, actually, you've given us a lot of interesting tips and interesting hacks and tricks. But anything, like you said, rose water was one thing that you mentioned. But anything else that comes to mind, which is a good hack or a good tip to keep in mind when you're traveling, when you're maybe on flight, when you're in transit? Anything else that one should think about, or one can do to make this a little easier while traveling?
Yeah, no, actually, I just forgot. Good, you asked me. Is that a moisturizer for your hands and feet? Because they are the next exposed things, and they show so much change, especially on a flight, because it's pressurized, it's air conditioned. You need to keep moisturizing your hands and feet throughout the flight. The other thing you can do is, wear some socks or something that your feet do not get completely exposed during a flight. So that is one thing that you need to remember. The other, what I generally do if it's a long flight is, when you're having your green tea, do keep those sachets with you, the dips, because that you can just sprinkle little rose water and put them on your eyes while you're resting on the flight. That takes away a
Hmm.
lot of pressure, stress from the eyes, because again, as I said, it has antioxidants which help nourish the skin and take away those free radicals. So the tea bags are wonderful, even in a hotel. See, this is something you will get all over. You'll get it in the flight, you'll get it in the restaurants, you'll get it outside in the hotels. So keep these tea bags and just dip them in a little water, or just spray rose water on them. And you can just dab it on the entire face and then put your sunscreen or your makeup. So this is one thing that really works when you travel. The other thing that really works is a warm towel. In so many of our, if warm or a cool, depending on what, but the warm towel really works, because at times you're not able to exfoliate. You can't carry everything with you. A warm towel
Hmm.
scrubbed on your face will work, one, as an exfoliant, two, it improves the blood circulation because it's hot. Now when blood
Right.
reaches the, it helps in repair. So at night, if you don't find any exfoliators, or you still feel that the skin is feeling very irregular, the texture is not looking good, just dip a small towel in warm water, squeeze it out tight, and just dab it on your skin for 10 or 15 seconds. That'll do the job. That'll really help you freshen up. So these are the two things that I feel are very easy. You get it anywhere. And, you can use it during travel.
I'm definitely trying these things out next time I go. Okay, so I think a lot of new people have joined. So I just want to tell everyone that we're talking about summer and travel skincare. In case you have any questions related to summer skincare or related to traveling, you can use the question box below. You can comment your questions below, and we'll definitely try and take them up. I just want to bring back the point of, a skincare routine, and we spoke about like a basic summer skincare routine. We spoke about travel routines, but I also want to emphasize that it's extremely important for you to know your skin type and for you to know your skin, for you to get the right routine for your skin. Also, your skin type continues to change with season, so every 3 to 6 months, 3 to 4 months, you should continue to check your skin type. You can go ahead and check out Skin Expert on Health and Glow. It is, it will give you a personalized regime for your skin with products that are suitable to you. So I definitely want to, mention this again, because we've seen some amazing results for a lot of our customers, and it's definitely worth trying. It's free of cost. It's a very detailed analysis, and I'm sure you guys will benefit from it. Um, Okay. I think one thing that I also remember and we've not spoken about, I think I'm going to mention this, is the lips. So I remember last time you mentioned,
Yeah,
you must put sunscreen on your lips, so you must use a lip balm that has SPF in it, but not to forget that part of our body. So I get brownie points for remembering that.
absolutely. I actually forgot about it, but yeah, it's extremely important. And here I would insist use of a lipstick. I mean, I'm a doctor, I'm a
Right.
dermatologist. I'm going out there and saying use a lipstick because when your skin gets dehydrated, your lips also get dehydrated, and subconsciously we start licking them, and that
Yeah.
worsens because saliva is going to digest your lips, so it's going to worsen the lips, and by the time you come back from your travel, you will have a lip dermatitis. So very important to use your lip balm, but along with that, if you're not comfortable with colors, you can use nude lipsticks, because when you have a lipstick on your lips, you do not lick them. Subconsciously your mind doesn't let you lick, because there's a lipstick out there. So please,
Yeah,
do
that's true.
this. And this is for women, of course. The men are going to say, sorry, how do we do that? But you can use lip gloss or lip balms if you are comfortable. Lip balms like Sebamed and all come with SPF. So, a repeat usage of a lip balm is really going to help. Also, now we get a lot of waxes and butters as lip balms, like a mango butter, shea butter, cocoa butter lip balms. These are good to carry because they come in small kits, and you keep reapplying it because that helps in keeping the moisture in check. So yes, lips should not be. And while you exfoliate the face, don't forget to exfoliate your lips. Here again, a simple hack is use sugar crystals from your restaurant or your hotel, and just just put it in a little bit of honey if you do get, or just water. And before brushing your teeth or after brushing your teeth, just rub it on your lips, and that does the job. You can exfoliate the dead skin. You're ready to go. Don't forget your lip balm.
Right. I think one more thing that a lot of people, and I know that we're nearing the end of the session, I think we have so much to talk about still. But I think one more thing that a lot of people, especially during this season and now pretty much throughout the year, even when they travel, or a lot of people right now going out for destination weddings, makeup is such a big part of what we put on our skin, right? And so, whether it's winter, summer, or whatever season, makeup when we're stepping out is, something that we always put. So, what tips would you have to, be able to take care of your skin while being in a situation where you have to apply makeup every day, or it's wedding season, so I'm applying slightly heavier makeup every day. How do I make sure if I'm traveling and applying makeup and it's the summer, that I'm still keeping my skin in check, that I'm not aggravating it or stressing it out?
Yeah, so that's important because this is something that I have experienced, and my patients love it when I tell them. So there are three things that you need to do when you travel, especially destination weddings, to carry with you. Okay, one of them is a double cleanser. Okay, so here micellar water is extremely essential, because when you're putting heavy makeup and you do not know whether they will have the right cleanser. So when you're in a great restaurant or a hotel or whatever, their cleansers and face washes are not for you because the skin types are different. So do carry two cleansers. One should be a micellar water or an oil based cleanser. So you get squalene based cleansers, you get coconut oil based cleansers. They will work beautifully to remove the makeup, and then you have your regular face wash. That is one. The second is always a facial mist. Even when you've used heavy makeup, right? And you are out there, on a beach, or, in a big hotel or something, a facial mist is very important. Do not worry, it's not going to run your makeup. The trick here is the distance where you spray it from. So when you
Okay.
normally we it's just maybe a meter distance or something like that, right? But when you are out there and you have a lot of makeup and you don't want your makeup to run, you ask somebody to do it at 1 arm length. So your
Okay.
spray has to be targeted, but in such a way that it's only few droplets that fall on your face. But do carry a mist every time. It will keep your makeup very moist and fresh. It will prevent caking. because when we apply multiple layers with bronzing and concealing and all that, you know, it tends to cake when you're out there, especially in summers, and you notice those cracks, especially under eye. The lines, in fact, become more prominent. So
Yes, definitely.
is counterproductive. So use a mist at arm length and just spray it on your face and then just dab it. Will keep your makeup intact. So you're cleansing, a double cleansing routine, keeping the face moist, irrespective of the layers of makeup is important. And third is try and pick up mineral based makeups, you know, when you're traveling, especially. Do not use those heavy foundations, you know, the oil based makeups. Use mineral or powder based foundations, powder based eyeshadows, and liners, which are, and the liner especially the one which is peelable, because when you,
Oh,
many a times, even if it is smudge proof, it tends to smudge out. So I always recommend the peel off liners, so
right,
that it'll never smudge, and at the end of the day you just need to peel it off. So those are
right.
the things you need to do. So just very three things: mineral-based products, a double cleansing, carry with you. Do not rely on the, hotels or anything. And the third important thing is a mist.
The mist is a bit of a surprise element, I think, for me. I've never ever heard of that.
Beautiful. So I don't know if you know, in so many earlier weddings, we used to have not just the air curtain, but we would have these kind of sprays which would keep spraying water. I
We,
don't know
we we generally used to have like those fans which like keep
which
spraying.
spraying water. Yes. So
Yes,
that, yeah, because that keeps your skin absolutely intact. But nowadays we don't see that. You know, we used to see that earlier, but nowadays in weddings I don't see that. So we need to carry our spray with us.
right. There's someone who's asked a question. Is it okay to use ghee or coconut oil or raw shea butter on lips?
Absolutely, absolutely. If it suits your skin, you should. I would, advise these things, and all these things which do not have fragrances, because lip, under eye, these are all sensitive areas. So, if you have a very fragrant product, it's going to cause allergies. So coconut oil is wonderful, ghee, malai, all that you can use.
Right. I think last but not the least, I would want us to maybe give a few tips and recommendations for men. And I think men is a topic that we've not really covered. But do you have any, additional tips or recommendations for men when it comes to summer skincare, or when it comes to travel?
Yeah, see, the one thing during summers and especially during travel is avoid aftershaves, because they're alcohol based. Most of these aftershaves are alcohol based and they dehydrate the skin further. So, avoid using aftershaves. If you use aftershaves, use the creamy ones, not the alcohol based, aftershaves. So that is one thing that most men should remember. And the second thing is, generally what I've noticed with men is that the night routine doesn't work for them. They generally use a day routine, they'll use a cleanser, they'll put a sunscreen, bahut bola
Yeah.
to kar. But night routine, especially in summer and when you travel, is important because you're exposed a lot more. So if you do not want to use or have a multi-layered approach, an antioxidant with the moisturizer, a combination of the two will work wonders. So, you get multiple, like you get a hyaluronic acid plus vitamin C. You
Hmm.
get, so you get glycerine plus vitamin E. So just these simple combinations will work wonderfully at night. So in the morning, cleanse and put your sunscreen. That's enough. At night, apply your antioxidant plus moisturizer. Just these simple three products will do the job.
Right. Okay, so I know we're almost at the end of the session, but I just want to take maybe 5 minutes more, if that's okay, because we do have a couple of points, and these are like typical myths that or facts or statements that we come across. And we'll keep it simple, but I think it's important that we address some of this for our viewers. So the first one is tanned skin is healthy.
Yeah, so sometimes it's so fun. we keep following the West, and we already have a tanned skin according to them. And, we want to tan it further because, we blindly follow the West. And that's really funny. But yes, what this is completely wrong, because when you tan, right, you're not going to tan evenly. It's going to be few areas that get tanned more than the rest. And if
Right.
continuously happens, you actually can expose yourself to a lot of problems, subsequently leading to even cancer. So if you look abroad now, tanning beds, tanning creams are generally banned. Reason being that in the long run, we've noticed that skin cancer has become very common in them. Indians, we are very lucky because we have enough melanin in our skin. We do not
Hmm.
get cancer so commonly. But tanning itself is one step further to reaching there. So,
Right.
tanning is absolutely not healthy skin.
Right. The second one is that if your skin is dark, you need lesser sunscreen.
Yeah. So, there is some kind of scientific basis to it, but not completely. What does a chemical sunscreen do? A chemical sunscreen absorbs the sunlight or the ultraviolet light, converts it to heat, and that heat then dissipates in the environment. That's the way a chemical sunscreen works. Now, if the chemical sunscreen is a higher SPF, what happens is the amount of heat that is produced when it's absorbed the light leads to pigmentation in our skin type, in Indians and Asians. So this entire thing about use 50 and 70 and 100 doesn't work for us, because when you use a heavier sunscreen, there is more heat generated, and that will cause rebound, darkening of skin. So one
Oh,
thing to remember is that we have to use a sunscreen basis our exposure. You know, that's the first thing. Now, second thing, so that is why many people use a sunscreen and think their skin has become darker, because of use of a sunscreen. And that is true if they've used the wrong SPF. So that's one. The second thing is, which is why we say double sunscreen, use a chemical and then use a physical, because the physical will refract all the light. And whatever little gets absorbed by the chemical is not so much that it will lead to pigmentation.
hmm.
Out use combination of the two. But dark skin also needs also needs a sunscreen, because when exposed, there'll be more pigmentation. So you'll become darker.
Right.
And unfortunately, the sunlight doesn't fall evenly on our face. So the darkening is also not even. It'll be patchy. So that's when, you notice uneven skin tone.
Right. I'll just cover one more, which is the last one. It is good for the skin to feel tight?
Yeah. So, somewhere we associate tightness with less lines and wrinkles, So tight
Hmm.
in the youthful or the younger you look. But ideally, tightness is one of, the reasons that your skin becomes dry. Now, I'll say
Right.
one. Tightness here means that there is not enough hydration or moisturization in your skin. That is why it's dry and tight. Like, I'll give you an example. If you've washed a cloth and put it in sunlight, like blaring sunlight, and when you take it, it's kadak, It's like
Hmm.
kadak. Why? Because extra moisture from the cloth has gone out in the sun, in the environment. So it's become so stretchy and dry. Same thing with our skin. So it doesn't mean that the tight skin or stretchy skin is good skin. It isn't. It means it's dehydrated, and you need to add moisturization on that skin. Very important.
Right. Awesome. So I think with that, we have come to a conclusion of our second session. Thank you so much, Dr. Amee. It's always very exciting to talk to you. And I think this session, especially, I've gotten so many amazing tips. We've covered so much on summer skincare, on SPF, on, home remedies or things that you can do with, literally things around the house to make sure your skin stays is taken care of during the summer and all that it deals with. We spoke about travel. So I think we've really covered a huge gamut. I still feel like we have, lots more to talk about on this topic, but Unfortunately, we're out of time. For anyone who's just joined in, we're ending the session. It's coming to an end, but please do, watch the entire video once it's up on our page. You should also check out Think Skin Clinic by Dr. Amee. She has more than 20 years of experience and some great tips, some truly amazing, great information and great tips on summer skincare as well that we've discussed in the course of this conversation. Don't forget to check out Skin Expert. Again, Skin Expert is a tool that will help you identify your true skin type. If it's changed from winter to summer, and also it will give you a tailored skincare regime which is really curated and made for your skin with dermatologist recommended products only. It's a free service on our website, on our app, in stores, so you can go to any Health and Glow store or check out the Health and Glow website and app. And you should definitely try out Skin Expert if you are looking for a skincare regime created for you specifically. Thank you again, Dr. Amee. I just want to, before we wrap up, I just want to also mention that maybe you want to share what we are going to be talking about during our next session, and I think we'll leave our users with that.
Yeah, actually, thank you so much, Rashmil. You gave me this privilege to talk about this. I am very excited. And for Mother's Day, we are going to talk about skincare for the new moms, And it's a very, I'm very passionate about it. It's very close to my heart because I have 2 kids and I know what I have faced through, every time after the delivery and even during delivery. So it's going to be a wonderful session, and please, I just want all of you to attend, and I really want you to tell your friends and relatives and whoever, and not just women, even men. I think, you need to tell your husbands, your partners, your friends to attend this session because it's so important to understand what a woman goes through and how her appearance and the way she feels is so important in making the child happy and keeping the mother safe. So please do attend the session, and I'll see you then.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Amee. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night, and we will see you again soon.
Yes.
Bye-bye.